Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer courtesy of Jeff. Thank you so much. This is another beer from New Trail. This is their Snickerdoodle Milkshake IPA. So no canned date, but brewed with cinnamon, vanilla, and lactose. Some five, yeah. Curious how people are doing milkshake IPAs this day. I've had a few. I've had probably more than a few, but I think like what is it? Tired Hands made it famous, but see how this one turns out. Looks like a hazy IPA. Like old color, medium plus full on haze, not completely opaque, slightly yellowish head. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of that cinnamon. I think it was a good idea. A little bit of cinnamon there with the vanilla. Plays well with that kind of doughy malt and the kind of like vanilla sweetness that I get sometimes from the, I don't know if it's an ester malt profile that has this kind of like vanilla thing that equilibrium beers have. But that little bit of cinnamon really helps it bump up, right? Like it's just you know what it is? It's contrast. It just you get all this like vanilla kind of like one of the things about desserts is that like cinnamon spices and other fruits and other things like are useful because like who wants to eat just like straight like pound cake? Oh, sometimes people do, or just straight sheet cake, right? Like or straight vanilla bomb. Like having extra ingredients and extra flavors to sort of like add complexity and contrast is huge, and you get this kind of like the vanilla, like because you could just go straight vanilla, but then now you get this vanilla with the cinnamon. Now it smells like a cinnamon. Pretty good. It smells like a cinnamon. It's pretty good. See, also tastes like a cinnamon too. Less of the, you know what? It tastes less like the cinnamon. It's a little bit of that because it doesn't really have the. Maybe a little bit, but it really tastes more like licking off the frosting off a cinnamon, which is just straight that icing plus the cinnamon, which is actually pretty intriguing. Underneath this beer is like a nice kind of like creamy, full mouthfeel, hazy IPA. I don't really get the distracting hop flavors because you can get like a chalkiness or polyphenol. Like, could you imagine eating like a lettuce, like a cinnamon with two pieces of lettuce? That's sort of what you can get if you do heavy polyphenol. It sort of tastes like a cinnamon salad with actual greens, which would be disgusting. But thankfully, they avoided that. This honestly might be one of the more successful milkshake IPAs I have because the cinnamon is just beautifully integrated in there. It really plays well with the vanilla to make this like icing flavor. So it really tastes like cinnamon icing. And then you get that doughy malt underneath, which a cinnamon is pretty doughy, right? It's not really super like, it's pretty pale in flavor versus like something that's toasted and baked. Well, I think they bake it obviously, but like we're talking something that's crusty, more caramelization, Maillard, blah, blah, blah. I don't think cinnamon really relies on that. They did a pretty good job. Oh, so they went for Snickerdoodle? Snickerdoodle. Yeah, see, Snickerdoodle has like Snickers, right? Am I crazy? I don't know what a Snickerdoodle is. Katie, what's a Snickerdoodle? Oh, I don't know what a Snickerdoodle is. I don't eat cookies. All right. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay. So I guess my analogy is cinnamon. The cookie I also feel would have more kind of brown sugar, molasses, baked flavors, more crunchiness. So it would offer more caramelization Maillard. Here it's more doughy. So this is really cinnamon. Like they should call this. Well, obviously it's trademark. So you call this like cinnabon, right? You can call something cinnabon. Cinnabon IPA, pretty good. It also has a little bit of kind of horchata kind of thing going on because it's like creamy, sweet, and milky almost. I mean, not the lactose offers milk flavor, but like it has a sweetness and creaminess that has this kind of like milk, something that's creamy and sweet. Yeah. And then horchata has this kind of like lightness to it, not as thick as something like coquito. And then the cinnamon flavor is pretty predominant. So actually, horchata IPA would be a good idea. There you go. This beer is somewhere between horchata and cinnamon. I like the cinnamon here. It doesn't taste Yankee Candle-ish. It's integrated well. I'm surprised I don't see little flecks. I assume they used some kind of cinnamon flavoring or they dropped it out in the process. Because ideally, like cinnamon's like, that's why the cinnamon's challenge is so hard. Is there's such tiny particulates that completely envelops your palate and like destroys you, and that's why people are choking on cinnamon. Excuse me. This is good. I like it. It's full impression. It's definitely not something I would seek, but for people into this is easily an A plus. Like if you're into like cinnamon, Snickerdoodle, horchata tasting hazy IPA, this is like I can't imagine it being executed too much better. For me, my personal palate, high impression, executes very well, but I'm not I'm not going crazy about it. But I'm gonna finish the can honestly, which is a huge compliment to the beer. So let's go with solid 91. Snickerdoodle. Again, if you're into this, easily A plus, easily. We gotta go like 96, 97. But for me, it's like dessert IPA, which I'm not super into. So well executed though, really good. Actually, I'm gonna give it a bump up. 92. Snickerdoodle, New Trail. Check it out. If you're into this, get it. Later.